Hello everyone, my name is Dante and today I tried to beat Resident Evil 5 using only Sheva. What does that mean? Well, in this game, Sheva's your AI partner. You can give her commands, control what weapons she uses, and even put her in a passive or aggressive state. But trust me, this challenge is far from easy. Sheva takes damage from everything in this game, and if she dies, it's game over. She heals you even when you don't need it, and she wastes all of your best ammo on the smallest, most insignificant enemies. So, let's put this to the test, shall we? Can I just sit back, enjoy a nice margarita, and let Sheva do everything? Or will I have to step in and do things myself? Let's find out. So we start off in the beautiful lands of Africa. Knowing full well what Sheva was about to go through in the next 24 hours, I couldn't help but smile. The first thing to do was to get a gun so that Sheva could actually protect me. I mean, we could have tried begging the locals not to kill us, but I had a feeling that wouldn't work. We ran over to the building, met our boy Pablo, and got our hands on some guns. Now, unfortunately, Sheva's too stupid to open most boxes and barrels, so I decided I'd be the one to do that. But here was the real test. Our first enemy. We busted into this poor soul's house and terrified him. He started choking. I didn't know the Heimlich maneuver. I didn't know what to do, so we thought the best course of action was to put a bullet in his head. Sheva and I were both surprised when he decided to defend himself. Now, Sheva was a little hesitant at first. The man didn't appear to be choking anymore, so it would be more like murder than trying to help him at this point. All it took was a bit of peer pressure for her to get the gears moving. At least, that's what I thought until she just left the damn room. I didn't know you could do that. You don't actually have to kill the first guy? Okay. After jumping out the guy's back window, we continued on our journey. But this would only be the beginning. For you see, we were about to be attacked by the entire village. But before getting into that, let me tell you about Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0. Since most of my audience consists of guys, I'm sure a lot of you struggle with annoying body hair, and I'm sure you all want to look clean, professional, and well-groomed. So, what you would get in this package is a waterproof body hair trimmer that's got a convenient LED light so you can actually see what you're doing, some ball deodorant and ball toner so you're feeling fresh and clean all day, and even a nose hair trimmer with a brand new pair of boxer briefs. In fact, Manscaped just released a new collection of anti-chafing boxer briefs in a bunch of different styles. We got the all black option, the black gold, or even the gray color option. You can buy these separately, or do what I did and save some money by getting a 3-pack bundle. These boxers are specifically designed to keep everything comfortable down there with good airflow. Guys, you know how much I love Manscaped. I've been sponsored by them so many times. I personally love and use their products, so I definitely recommend them. Go down to the description or my pinned comment down below right now to get 20% off and get free international shipping when you use code Dante20 at checkout. And you even get 2 free gifts too. Remember, to get 20% off plus free international shipping, you have to use code Dante20 at checkout. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. The fight began. I tried barricading the damn window, but these people were monsters. I knew Sheva was gonna be useless here, so I went ahead and took away her gun before the fight. Then, I unleashed her on them. Jesus Christ, it was worse than I thought. Not only was Sheva useless, she was a liability. All I could do was watch as a group of men ganged up on her. But I knew she'd be alright. She had the power of God and feminism on her side. All of a sudden, the big shirtless guy came out of nowhere and busted down the fence. It was time to go. I called Sheva over to me like a dog and we began looting everything we could. Maybe it wasn't the smartest idea in the world, but trust me, we needed it. It was critical to get everything we could now because otherwise everything would despawn after the fight. But good luck! Trying to get this idiot to do anything was impossible. It was clear to me that these men were becoming a bit much. So as a last-ditch effort, we booked to the highest point of the tallest tower. Our lives were in the hands of Sheva now. Right when I thought it was all over, Kirk saved us. Thank God. It was here that I decided I'd be the healer and the ammo holder. We were stacked with over 175 rounds of ammunition and really, it wasn't looking too bad. I'm sure you've all noticed what my strategy was. Because Sheva had molasses for brains, I came to the conclusion that running past most enemies was a viable strat. At least, until I noticed Sheva completely wiping out the local population. She was ruthless. Sure, I was a little scared when we got separated, but I could always count on her to save the day. Sheva was great when it came to 1v1s, but how did she hold up against a group of enemies? Yeah, it was best just to run in those situations. Here was the real test of skill though, our first boss fight. We were all good and I was feeling pretty confident waiting for Ouroboros to appear. That is, until Sheva decided last minute to run at the thing for no damn reason and get grabbed. Really? Oh my god, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it was incredibly difficult to get this thing corralled into the Chamber of Death. Sheva seemed to all of a sudden become sentient and she made this really difficult for me as usual. But then the stars aligned and at the perfect, precise moment, I commanded Sheva to use the lever. Oh my god, it worked! Yes! I've gotten this far into the challenge and I still don't have any blood on my hands. I was so proud of Sheva. A great thing about me not using any weapons is the fact that I was able to use all of the money I collected to upgrade Sheva's guns and equipment. With chapter 1 complete, I was feeling pretty damn good. That is, until we hit a roadblock. Sheva refused to shoot the tripwires. No matter how many times I told her to sacrifice herself for me, she just refused to do it. I tried pushing her into the tripwire, but then I realized that was just stupid because then I'd get blown up too. I tried psyching the tripwire out, but that didn't seem to work either, and in the end, it looked like I just had to take it like a man. As my spine exploded, sending pieces of bone fragments all throughout my body, it was here I really came to realize just how much I hated my partner. After taking out some enemies and throwing my body into some more tripwires, we came across the dogs. I had pretty low faith in Sheva, so we just ran. We opened the door, Sheva was surprisingly able to take everything out, and here was where everything fell apart. You see, this guy comes speeding down the road at 100 miles per hour, and you're supposed to stop him before he plows through you. The thing is, Sheva was able to kill him, but she was just a little bit too late in doing it. I tried multiple times, and each time was a failure, so eventually I had to take matters into my own hands, but get this. When I went into New Game Plus and gave her the grenade launcher, she was actually able to do this part successfully. I'm not sure if I'm going to count that as getting past this part yet, but let's keep that in mind. As usual, after that we ran away from everything as I desperately tried to loot, and we found ourselves fighting the flying parasites. Sheva was a god at taking these things out, but then she didn't know about the concept of breaking a lock. She impresses me and then I immediately lose all faith in her. When we got to the docks, I realized that Sheva wouldn't be able to get the key from the dead guy in the hut. Wasn't that big of a deal though, I was already using my knife on boxes and locks. I was really more concerned about whether or not she could take out the enemies by herself. We let Kirk take care of this mob of psychos, looted everything on shore, and continued on to the part I was dreading. The chainsaw guy. I was a little nervous because I've had a lot of trouble on this part during past gaming challenges, but luckily my fears were swept away when Sheva was able to make it to the door all on her own. I was worried she wouldn't be able to kick it open on time when all of a sudden, boom, she saved the day. But my troubles were far from over. The chainsaw guy was out for blood and he was looking right at us. At first, I was a bit skeptical of Sheva. I thought I'd definitely have to step in and save the day, but wouldn't you believe it? She was doing just fine by herself. It was quite a blessing to be a spectator to this wonderful show, and Sheva earned a gold star. That is, until she blew herself up. What a disappointment. Now, just so everyone believes me here, I'm gonna play this whole little section to show you that she was able to defeat this guy when I wasn't looking. I go to pick up the gold like the little leprechaun I am, and off screen, Sheva blows up a red barrel right then and there, taking him out once and for all. I snagged his key, ran for my damn life, and waited as Sheva desperately tried to catch up. We continued on like this for quite some time. Sheva would take out some enemies, I would run face first into a tripwire, and slowly but surely we were making our way through this game. At one point, we even made it to the mines, and Sheva was lucky enough to find an herb. I tried to back away since it would be a complete waste to use it on me now, but that didn't stop her from using it anyway. At this point, we were coming up to the bat boss fight, and I became a true master at dodging. The Gatling gun was surprisingly easy to dodge as we took the detour to the left, and Sheva and I pushed the pile of trash out of our way before any of the enemies could even catch us. The bat was actually a really tricky fight. I went in there the first time with barely any ammo and barely any plan. Basically, I was hoping the bat would be distracted on me while Sheva unloaded on it from the back, but this plan seemed to be a bit flawed with the puny amount of ammo we had. So okay, I died, I gave her everything we had saved up until this point, and we tried again. I sat there as a damaged sponge as Sheva went to town on the poor thing. Of course, because Sheva had the equivalent of 3 brain cells in her head, she always seemed to decide the best time to reload was when the bat was vulnerable on the floor. You know, shooting would also be a good option, but don't let me tell you how to live your life. I gave Sheva every piece of ammo I owned. Shot after shot after shot, and this tank of a bat didn't seem to go down. So as a last-ditch effort, I took a single swing at him with my knife, and boom, the thing died. Uh-oh. You know what that means, right? You, as the player, have to do the killing blow on this thing. How disappointing. Luckily for me, even though I panicked and quit the game so that my progress wouldn't be saved, the game had my back. I was now ammo-less and couldn't do anything about it. This day couldn't get any worse. Well, I was wrong, because I immediately came to another part where I actually had to do something. You'd think Sheva could take care of the motorcycles and El Thick Boy all by herself, but no, I needed to be there to hold her hand. We were now in the jungle. This whole section was fairly easy because all I had to do was snatch a couple pieces of a stone tablet to progress. I even found a rocket launcher. Who knows if Sheva can use it, but it's cool nonetheless. This next part still gives me PTSD to this day, the jungle ambush. As is typical Sheva behavior, she grabbed the damn coin purse on the spike trap and got absolutely clobbered. Was that a good idea, Sheva? Huh? Do you regret it now? We ran to the crank. No way in hell was Sheva gonna be able to take all these guys out. My life was in her hands as she lifted the bridge for me. Now, I don't know how we were able to get away with it first try, but I was actually able to cross the bridge without falling to my death. Had a single enemy hit Sheva while I was on there, I would have died instantly, but thanks to the gods looking on me from above, I was saved. I opened the door for Sheva, saved her life, and we got out of there. What had to happen in the next section was basically the same thing. Sheva had to crank a crank for me so that I could make it to the other side to unlock our escape route. The only problem was the 50 guys who ganged up on her. To save some ammo, most of the time I'd take the big dummy's gun away from her because otherwise it'd be a free-for-all with who she decided to waste her precious ammo on. And you know, after the whole bat situation, that wasn't a good thing. So while in the game over screen, I hesitantly gave my partner the shotgun to use and prayed she wouldn't waste too much ammo. Well, guess what? When I loaded back in, all the enemies despawned. The rest of this section was easy and we even got to loot the whole place. My celebrations were cut short though, because this next part I can confidently say was one of the hardest parts of the entire game, the Chainsaw Twins. Now, remember, we're low on ammo here, so I can't just give any gun to Sheva willy-nilly. We need to save every last piece of ammo we can for the rest of the bosses in the game. So I'd have to get through this part with 2 chainsaw guys, dozens of enemies, and tons of crossbow shooters, all while having to turn 2 valves to open the way out. Yeah, this part sucked. I could watch over myself no problem. It was Sheva who was the idiot here. Death after death after death, and it was all her fault. At one point, I had finally done it. Both valves were turned, and somehow I was able to worm my way to the exit. As I desperately waited for Sheva to come, my heart dropped. A chainsaw man had beaten her there. I panicked as I ran around in circles hoping the psychopath wouldn't be able to reach me. I was convinced it was over, but then Sheva appeared out of nowhere. Oh, thank God, I was so relieved until I realized that 3 people in a tight area doesn't give you much room to move. After a few more deaths, we were finally able to make it to the next room, and here, we were expected to defend Josh. And by that, I mean, Sheva was expected to defend Josh. But that's gonna do it for now. I don't usually like doing 2-parter videos, but there's just so much to talk about here and I don't have time to wrap it all up in one video. But stay tuned because we still got the fish guy to fight, tons and tons of smaller parts that seem to be impossible, and even the Wesker fight at the end. Will Sheva be able to do it, or will I have to provide her some backup? Thanks for watching, subscribe to me if you'd like to see part 2, and make sure to click that bell. You pretty well aren't subscribed to me if you don't click that bell, so you better click it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you thick boys in my next video.